Okay, this is Nate here with the Commemorative Air Force Minnesota Wing. I've been working on getting the bomb system operational in the B25, Miss Mitchell here, and running into a couple of issues with the Norden Bombsight. The system's working manual releases completely now, but not through the Bombsight yet. So a couple of folks online are helping me out here, namely Timothy Paul 1964 from YouTube and Ty Ramey from twinbeach.com. So I just wanted to shoot a video for those guys and others assisting, showing what's going on here with this system that kind of doesn't seem right. So right now I've got the system online. All 12 stations are armed in the bomb bay, and I'm just going to show here the first problem, which is with the intervalometer. So the Bombsight isn't on right now. It is wired but not powered. And I'm just going to simulate a bomb drop. First I'll show you the intervalometer. I'm going to set it to a train of 12 bombs, and I'm going to go ahead and close the firing contact to simulate a drop from the Bombsight. That just fired the first station, and now the light is lit on the lower right of the intervalometer, and shortly the unit will count down. There it goes. Now I assume what should happen is that would fire all 12 stations with every click as it counts down, but as you can see here, I'm going to break the firing contact. As you can see on the bomb panel, only the first station fired. So that's the first issue we're probably having here. Might be a contact issue in that intervalometer. Okay, so before I power up the Norden, I just wanted to point out a couple of things that don't seem quite right. First off is here on the right of the, I believe, the rate end computer, there are two knobs which turn the fingers here for the firing contact and to set the bomb point, I assume, and when they touch it fires. That just dropped station number 11. So as you can see, the inner knob turns pretty freely, and that moves that right finger. However, the outer knob, very tight, almost hard to turn at all. And then when I am turning it now, that left finger is barely moving. And so that is one thing that seems to be seized. The second issue is here on the front of the Bombsight. Let me reposition the light. There's this rod right here, and I believe that moves every time from the videos Tim did. Every time the Norden fires, when these fingers up top touch, this drops down to fire the shackles. Is safety wired in place. I can remove that safety wire, and there's a plunger here, and this plunger, I believe, should withdraw when the firing circuit's touched, but it's seized. I can barely get it to move. If I press hard on that outer part of it, it will retain that rod, but like I said, it's pretty much seized. So that's the other issue here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and power on the Norden Bombsight. So I'll start here on the side panel. And I'll go ahead and turn on the stabilizer, and then as you'll know here, I just turn on the stabilizer switch. It's powered and there's no noise. Nothing seems to be running up on the stabilizer. So if I turn on the servo switch, again, I seem to not hear any noise or don't seem to notice anything happening. Now when I turn on the Bombsight, you'll hear here the gyros in the Bombsight head are now starting to spin up. And so I'm just going to let that spin up for a second, pause the video. Okay, so the Bombsight's been spinning up for a little bit now. The gyro should be all up and running at full speed. On the right side of the Bombsight here, I just wanted to show that when I turn on what I believe is the rate end computer, there's no effect. The knob is still seized on the outside, and the finger here does not begin to move up on its own. On the front of the Bombsight, you'll see the tachometer adapter. I can spin it by hand, but it doesn't move on its own like in Tim's videos. Also, this knob here, I believe, is the rheostat knob to turn the intensity of the bulb for the Bombsight brighter or lighter, and that is seized. I can't turn that at all whatsoever. As you can see when you look through the bomb sight here, you can see the crosshairs, and there's no lighting going on inside, so that bulb might be either bad or the circuit's not working. So again, nothing seems to be working like in Tim's videos, and nothing is moving on its own. The switch here for the different speeds does move back and forth, a little resistance, but that doesn't seem to have any effect either. Another thing too, in the manual it talks about these knobs, and I think it's called uncaging the system there. When I uncage it, that doesn't seem to have any effect on anything here on the other end of the bomb sight. Nothing is moving on its own. So that's that. Another thing I noticed is that when you turn this outer knob, it takes a lot of force, and it doesn't really even seem to move that left finger. Now, when I use this knob and I spin that, it's very hard to spin as well, almost seized, but there is a slight movement to that inner finger as I turn that smaller knob in the upper right of the computer. So that, but in either case, moving that doesn't have any bearing on this knob, which is still seized. Okay, just one more thing here with the intervalometer. According to the manual, it looks like you can use that function through the hand release without even going through the bomb sight. So I've got the firing circuit on the sights broken right now, and there's 10 stations armed in the bomb bay. So if I go ahead and set a train of bombs and I press that button once, it should initiate, from the manual, one press should initiate the train release. And you can see here on the intervalometer, the light on the lower right isn't lit. Now if I press and hold the switch, now that light's there on the corner of the intervalometer, and shortly here I'm still holding the switch. The intervalometer will sequence down, and again you'll see here that it did not do the sequence, so that's another potential issue. So this is just to show that of the 6 remaining stations that are still armed in the bomb bay, the fingers do work to fire only individual stations though. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.